Hi everyone, welcome back to my weekly meal plan episode. If you are new here, this is a quick episode that I do every Wednesday, in which I share with you my family's meal plan for the upcoming week. And the idea is just to maybe give you some motivation to get your meal plan together or give you some ideas of some things you'd like to make. My meal plan can be found on my website at lolasfrugallife.com. There's a blog post for each weekly meal plan, and in that meal plan there are links to any of the recipes that I mention. I just think that meal planning has done so much for me as far as saving me money, saving me time, and just making life a lot easier. And I do use a meal rotation where I repeat certain meals on a certain frequency. So if you want to maybe try that, I can tell you that it makes a huge difference to have at least a few days of the week that are kind of on an auto rotation, so you don't even have to think about planning those. So this week's meal plan starts on Saturday, July 1st. For Saturday, we are doing Philly cheesesteak pasta. This is from smalltownwoman.com. I made this a few weeks ago and everybody really liked it, so I'm going to make this again. It is basically like one of those skillet type dishes. It's got ground beef, mushrooms, peppers and onions, French onion soup, and penne pasta. And you just kind of make it like a big skillet meal. And that was really good. Oh, and it has cheese in it too. So we're going to do that again for Saturday. For Sunday, I'm going to be doing Cuban style pork chops. This is from foodnetwork.com. I really love these. I think they're so good. You marinate the pork chops in like a citrus mixture. It's like orange juice and lime juice. And then you put fresh oregano leaves in there if you have that. I've also done it without the oregano leaves. It still comes out really good. But you basically marinate the pork chops, and then you stuff them with deli ham and cheese and Swiss cheese, and then you grill them. They're so good. It says to use thick pork chops and butterfly them, which works fine too. But what I actually started doing is getting Aldi has these really thin pork chops, and I use those. So I do like one thin pork chop, I do like the ham and the cheese, and then another thin pork chop on top, and it's just a little bit easier than butterflying and stuffing the pork chop, so that's an option too. And then with those on the side, I'm going to be doing Hellman's original potato salad, which is from food.com. For Monday, it's our hamburger night. We do this every other Monday, so I just take ground beef, make it into patties. Since the weather's nice, I'll probably be throwing it on the grill. And then I'm going to do oven fresh seasoned potato wedges from allrecipes.com. This is just a simple potato side where you take whole potatoes, slice them into wedges, shake them in a Ziploc bag with some olive oil, Parmesan cheese and seasonings, and bake them in the oven, or you could cook them up in the air fryer. If you're going to do them in the air fryer, I usually go a little bit thinner on the slices so that they cook quickly. And then I'll do a can of pork and beans with that meal also. Tuesday, we always do some type of Mexican theme meal. This week is Chipotle night. That's like my favorite of the Mexican theme meal nights. We do homemade style Chipotle bowls. So I'll do like brown rice, chicken that I broil in little bite-sized pieces in the oven. I put out like black beans and salsa and avocado and cheese and all that, and everyone can make their own Chipotle style bowls for dinner. For Wednesday, we usually do seafood. This week, I'm going to be doing easy shrimp vegetable stir fry, which is from allrecipes.com. I actually am not going to follow this recipe though, as far as all the different vegetables that it says to put in the stir fry. I'm just kind of using it as a placeholder on my meal plan because I wound up just finding like a bag of stir fry frozen vegetables when I was putting my grocery order together. So I'm just going to use that and make it easier rather than buying a whole bunch of fresh vegetables, because since I'm making this meal on Wednesday and I get my groceries the previous Thursday, I try not to like do too many meals with fresh vegetables like that late into the week, because then they'll be sitting in my fridge for like 5 or 6 days or whatever. So I'm going to do the frozen vegetables to make that meal. For Thursday, we usually do soup and sometimes grilled cheese or breakfast for dinner. So this week we're going to be doing soup. We're going to do slow cooker corn chowder, which is from damndelicious.net. Just a tip, this does call for 6 ears of corn, and you basically are supposed to take the kernels off the corn and use it to make the soup. I'm sure that is delicious, but I'm way too lazy to do that on a Thursday night, which is the night I go grocery shopping. So I'm trying to do like a quick, easy meal. Although I guess you could do that in advance. But anyway, I don't do that. I just buy canned corn. I usually buy like 2 cans of corn and I put that in the crock pot instead of, doing it off the actual corn, like actual corn. What do you call them? Like, I can't even think of what they're called. Corn on the cob. I couldn't think of what it was called. So you can definitely do canned corn for that recipe. I do 2 cans. And then the last meal for this week's meal plan is for Friday, July 7th. We're going to be doing creamy herbed pork chops, which is from allrecipes.com. As I always say, when I make this recipe, I don't actually do the creamy part. I just really like the pork chops. Really, it's so simple. I just do the butter in a frying pan and you season the pork chops. Bone-in pork chops, I think, taste the best. I season them with the McCormick steak seasoning and then just cook them up in the butter in the frying pan. And they just come out they just taste really good and it's so simple. So I don't even think they need the cream, but again, that's just me being lazy. I'm sure the cream would even make it even better if you want to try that. And then as a side, I'm going to be doing Sarah's rice pilaf. That's from allrecipes.com. And then some frozen vegetables, whatever I happen to have in the micro, something I can throw in the microwave, whatever I happen to have in the freezer. I always get like some of those microwave steam fresh type vegetables whenever they're on sale. So we always have either like corn or peas or like whatever I could just kind of grab and throw in the microwave. So that's it for this week's meal plan. Like I said, you can find links to any of these recipes on my website at lolasfrugallife.com, as well as the full meal plan for every week that goes along with each episode. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you back here next week. So thank you for checking in for this podcast episode. And don't forget, you can always email me with any questions or suggestions at lolasfrugallife@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at lolasfrugallife. And you can find a blog post for most of my episodes and definitely all of my meal plan episodes at lolasfrugallife.com. You can also join our private listeners group at facebook.com/groups/lolasfrugallife. And if you enjoy the show, please make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen from. And I would love it if you would screenshot the show and tag me on Instagram so I could see you're listening. Also, if you can please take a couple of seconds to rate and review the podcast. Those ratings and reviews are what help the show come up better in search results so that other people can find this podcast. So that will really help me in growing my audience. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have an awesome day.